say live when it's there. We are. Hey, I want to thank everybody who shows up today and everybody who in the past been here, because I really appreciate you guys giving me the feedback on these lives we do from the real estate show. Today, my special guest is Michael Kelly. I'm sure everybody in Monessen knows Mike Kelly.
Well, and an emphasis on special.
Is it special? Anyway, so today we're going to do kind of a market update. I kind of want to let people know where the market's going right now. A lot of people are worried about, should I buy, should I sell? What should I do? What I shouldn't do? And what I liked about when I was talking to you, Mike, the other day, you were like, this is what I tell people when they ask me that question. So what do you tell people when they ask you, is it a good time to sell or is it a good time to buy?
What did I say? Oh, I remember what I said. I said, hey, a good time to buy is right now. You know exactly what the market is right now. You don't know what the future is going to be. You know what the past is. You don't know when the market's going to hit the bottom until it starts going up. You don't know when the market's going to hit the top until it starts going down. So if you want to participate in the real estate market, do it now.
Right. See, that was a perfect answer, because when I get asked, I'm always asked, is it a good time to buy? Never about selling. And I always say the best time to buy is when you're thinking about it. You can't let the market control how you buy your home or rent a home. You have to do what's best for you,
Absolutely.
Not what's going on in the market. And one of the things I wanted to kind of talk about is it's still a seller's market because there's no inventory. And I had a little chart I wanted to add real quick to show what they're talking about, buyer traffic and seller traffic. So I'm going to bring it in. So add to stream. There it is. So if you look here, it says very strong, stable, weak, and very weak. So look at buyers traffic all over the United States, except for 4 in Hawaii, of course. So 5 states, I guess, according to my wife. She's from Hawaii, so you know what I mean by that. Yeah. So, and then there's a couple more up here. I guess I should go over here so where I can see where you're pointing. So up here, and then you have these over here. So basically, we have a very strong buyer traffic right now.
Yeah.
But if you look at the seller traffic, how weak it is in the states that, especially California, it's super weak. What does that tell you?
Not enough people are selling.
Correct. We need more people to sell.
Yeah.
And
so get up, list a house, get out.
So what does that mean? It's a great time to sell, and it's still a great time to buy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we move that out there back to us, and I'll get us closer so people don't see everything. Anyway, so one of the banners I did is, because this is what we're talking about, since buyer demand is so high at the time, seller traffic is so low, there's a good chance buyers will be competing for your house if you're selling. Huge chance, right? NAR said nationwide there was an average of 4.8 offers, and this is nationwide. That's why it's NAR, not CAR. And they're saying nationwide. But here locally, what would you say the average number of offers you get on a house? And I know it's probably by price point.
Yeah, it is. And so it's going to be a lower number than you would expect right now. You're probably following the national average, about 4.8 or 5 offers per listing. There are those anomalies to where you're in a certain price range and you get, 22, 24, 25 offers on a piece of property, as high as 50. But I would say on average, probably 4 to 5.
So basically, but that price point you're talking about is FHA price point, right?
Yeah,
so
it's the entry level price range.
So that would be $478,000 is the sales price for FHA in our area.
Yeah.
And that's status loss, and then it's a little bit lower in Tuolumne County. But biggest problem in Tuolumne County FHA is just the issues you're going to have with the appraisal because of pests and possibly.
Right.
So with that being said, so if you're selling a house in 500 or 600 realm, you're going to be more the average what you're talking about.
Correct. Yeah, you're going to be 2 to 5 on average. And, that's so much different than 2021 where it didn't matter what price range you were, there was no inventory whatsoever. So, and there were people all over the place. So you'd have at least 10 per listing. And now it's kind of funny to see a seller say, I've been on the market 4 days and I've only got 2 offers. You got 2 offers.
Right. Yeah, take one and go.
Yeah.
You're lucky you have 2.
And they're almost always above the ask.
Right, because they want to get that property. Now, you brought some numbers in with you. Is there anything you want to share?
Not really.
Okay.
I hate stats.
All right, goodbye.
Okay. Thanks.
Well, Mark Twain says there's lies, damn lies, and then statistics.
Exactly, and that's exactly what I think about stats. Stats tell us where we were.
Right.
It's interesting that in the Central Valley, you're looking at about for February average sales price of $405,000, according to CAR. And according to just Modesto with Metro List, you're looking at 429.9, you know, so fairly similar. But that's just Modesto,
Right.
not all of the Central Valley.
Well, the problem with Modesto, and it's not like a negative thing, it's just the fact that we don't build homes. We used to build 1,000 homes a year in Modesto. Now we're at 100.
Yeah.
So that's some of our issues. That's the issues nationwide. That's the issues here.
Yeah.
And
so you have the big construction going on in the outlying areas, you know, Riverbank and Manteca and Merced, and those areas are building.
Right, but they're still, even when they sell all those, it's still a drop in the bucket compared to what we need.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we're so far behind on that. And I've had some different politicians who are running for the, you know, Senate in California and certain things. And I'm like, how the only way to fix this, because they're all about affordable housing and homeless and all that. The only way you fix that is you build more houses.
Yeah.
Because then the price point's not going up as fast.
It's always interesting to me to hear the affordable housing argument. It's got to be the hardest thing to answer. Hardest thing in the world to answer. There's a way. It's like trying to answer the homeless issue.
Right.
There's 653,000 reasons why people are homeless, and you want to put one little tiny blanket on it and say, oh, there, it's fixed.
Right. So, it's like the other day they were giving out stats on how our hotels in Modesto, right, are fully at certain capacity, where other cities are like this. And I'm thinking, well, they got what were the ones at 5 points? They don't have those anymore. So what are you considering a decent hotel room in Modesto, right? Yeah. So I think the problem is we don't have enough hotel rooms in Modesto. We have some of the ones that you don't want to live in, and then you have other ones that have put transients in them, or homeless, whatever you want to call them. I apologize if I offended anybody. Put in those. And so there's again, back to my Mark Twain's point, you know, those are statistics, and when they're horrible. My whole purpose of talking about today is, if you're looking to buy, rates are up, but that's okay. We're historically still the lowest rates in history, because when I got into the business, I was taking people from 13 to 9 and they loved me. And now I'm like, okay, well, the average FHA rates, you know, 4.5. I'm just going off Fannie Mae, so please don't send me things saying you didn't do your APR. You know, I have to, all those disclosures things I have to say, but basically what we're saying is that's still a great rate. We were here in 2018, 2019, and nobody complained.
Right. Well, they completely forgot about it.
Right. The problem is, when you have rates as low as we did, that means there's something going on that's majorly affecting the United States.
Yeah.
The last time was a war, huge, when we went to the Gulf War, right? When we were attacked, 9/11. Rates dropped drastically. Now this time we were in a pandemic, and we went in a recession in the beginning of 2020, and most people didn't realize we're in a recession. Well, when you get stuck at home and you can't produce anything, you don't do anything, you're in a recession. Right.
Yeah, that's fairly the definition of it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And so what we're going to see going forward is we are going to see nobody really knows. This is what you were talking about. Is it a good time to buy or sell? Because you know the market right now.
Yeah.
You know where the rates are right now. You know the value of the house right now. It could be 20% higher. Like if you didn't buy last year and you're looking to buy this year, we're 20% higher. I'm not saying that we're going to continue to do that. I don't want to continue to do that. That's when you've lost 9 million people nationwide who can't afford to buy a house now because the rates went up to 5%.
And the other is true. I mean, you could have interest rates go to 10, 12. I don't see that happening, but you know, we've got one eye shut anyway, and prices come down. But did you get more home?
No.
You didn't save anything.
No, you got less. And that's you know what they are now. Every time you go up 1%, you know, that's going to take $300 on average is what it's going to change in the payment. And, you know, I was helping some people buy a second home, and they were locked at 3.99. And then the Fannie and Freddie came out with their new rule where they rate the second home, which made it so much higher. So their actual rate was going to be 4.625 if they weren't locked and didn't close on time.
Right.
Well, they backed out of that transaction because some issues came up with septic, and the guy didn't want to do anything.
Oh.
And so now they're back in, and we're in the 5s.
On your second home, you're in the 5s, right?
Yeah, and they're like, they go, we kind of know. You kept telling us that. You told us that the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, that's important. That no matter who you are. Right. Every loan officer out there, every mortgage advisor, every real estate agent, talk to your people all the way through the transaction, even while they're looking. Hey, you might want to get back with your loan person. Make sure you still qualify with that pre-approval from 30 days ago or 45 days ago, because you want to make sure that you still can buy today.
Update that pre-approval
Weekly.
Yeah. Not WEEK, right?
Right. WEEK. Weekly. Like, yeah,
Weekly.
just touch base. You should be talking to that person all the time, all the way through.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of times, I didn't realize this on the new contract you guys are using, under where you're marked pre-approval, pre-qual, pre-approval, and fully underwritten pre-approval.
Right. Isn't that cool?
Yeah. Well, do you know what a fully underwritten pre-approval is?
Most people don't. Fully underwritten pre-approval is that you've already gone through every process whatsoever, and you're just looking for the home.
You would think that.
Yeah.
But that's not the case.
What do you call it?
No, that's not what I call it. It's what the industry calls it. A fully underwritten pre-approval means they ran DU and LP, which is the underwriting engines for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And they say, as long as you check these, as long as these things come in here, this is a good loan, right? An underwriter hasn't really looked at it. But the underwriting engines are the ones that tell us whether or not it's a good loan or whether or not it can be done.
And this is our AI, correct?
Yeah, AI, correct. And that's the same one that comes out and says whether we get a waiver, what an appraisal waiver, which means that you don't have to have an appraisal.
Right.
I have two people in a neighborhood. One got the waiver and one didn't get the waiver. One's putting 20% down. One's putting 35% down. Who do you think got the waiver?
Well, the way you prop it up there, I'm thinking the 20% down.
That is correct. Yeah, I kind of gave you a softball.
Yeah.
We'll just start calling you Biden.
Oh, geez.
We'll move on.
I can't see the teleprompter.
Yeah. Well, I saw a post from somebody the other day. Why don't they just turn teleprompter towards us so we can understand what you're saying?
Exactly. Yeah. That's so true.
All right, let's not get political. I don't want to lose all your.
I'm done.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to add before we go? Because I like to keep these kind of short so people watch them.
The other thing is, conversely, the other side of that is, when's a good time to sell?
Now.
So now.
Or never.
Unless it doesn't make sense for you financially and you don't know where you're going.
Right.
So, but right now.
And the other thing, though, you also want to look at is how much did you buy the house for? How much are you selling it for? How much have you appreciated? Because if you're a single person, you get $250,000 of, that you can appreciate.
It's tax-free.
Correct. And then if you're married, a couple, you have $500,000. So you need to check, because I'm dealing with a lot of sellers from the Bay Area, and they're buying stuff and they bought their house for 500. Now they're selling it for 1.7. I said, you need to check with your tax person to see if you're going to have that capital gains. Right.
Yeah, that's a very smart thing to throw back in there. We're not tax consultants. We're not attorneys.
That's why I said check with your tax person.
Exactly. But we need to know those things, just that information, to tell them to go to the appropriate person to make sure that they're not like, oh crap, I bought this house and now I've got a $25,000 tax bill.
Well, I have some, the eminent domain that's going on over there off of where they're doing the 108 out there, 120, right? Some of those people are getting, they bought their houses for 150, 200,000. Now with what the county's giving them and everything, it could be 900,000 they're getting.
Yeah.
The question is, are they going to have a tax gain? So they need to check with their tax advisor.
They probably are.
Yeah. So
Alvin Prasad says that he lost sound at 8:20 a.m.
Who lost sound?
Alvin Prasad. That guy right there.
Oh, well, we weren't on at 9:20.
No, his says 8:20, and it is 9:20.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
It's when he posted.
Let's talk about this.
All right. Well, how do we lose sound? It should be here.
It's back, he says.
Okay. Maybe it's just internet. Good job, Mike. Great job, Mike.
Thank you. All right. Thanks for inviting me in. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I want people to get the information. I want other people to come in. You're going to be here Mondays and Fridays unless you're on vacation.
Yeah, unless I'm, we'll call it vacation.
Yeah. Well, you can do something. You got to get away sometimes.
Yeah.
All right. I appreciate you coming in, talking about this. I kind of like keep these under 15 minutes. We did that. The only other thing, make sure if you're going to sell, talk to your tax advisor before you do anything to make sure you're not going to have any capital gains, or if you do, you know exactly what to do with it and how to put it aside. And again, Mike, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Ed, for inviting me.
Had a great time.